Hi, this is Matt from tracymac.co.uk, and here I have the O2 XDA Zest, which is also known as the Asus Galaxy 7, made exclusively for O2 by Asus. Just have a little look inside and we'll have a little tour of the device. So here's the Zest itself, which we'll look at in a bit more detail in just a second. We'll just have a look at what else is in the box. First of all, we have your quick start guide and warranty card. There is a CD-ROM with Getting Started and ActiveSync 4.5, and also a demo version of Outlook 2007. A series of adapters here, so you've got a European and UK plug adapter for the mains charger, and the mains charger is a USB style charger, which means I guess you can use it for other devices as well, which is kind of useful. A battery. And the battery is 1300 mAh, so quite a reasonable capacity. Comes with a memory card, and it's a 1 gig micro SD, and does come with an SD adapter there. Have some headphones. Pretty bog standard looking headphones. On one end we have the USB style connector and an inline microphone with push button and volume control, and obviously the headphones on the other end. Headphones look reasonably good quality and they're quite weighty for their size, so can't really comment on how good they are, but we can do so later. And it's interesting that there is that USB style connector, which is similar to that we find on HTC devices, so it does mean that you need to use either this headset or get an adapter in order to use your own headphones, which is a bit of a shame. Also have a standard USB to mini USB cable in the box, which is used for sync and charge. There is a spare stylus, which is a fixed length, not telescopic, and it's just plastic rather than metal and plastic, as is typical. And then we have this wire adapter cable, which allows us to plug into mini USB on the Zest, and then gives us the ability to charge, sync and plug in headphones at the same time, which is kind of a cool idea, being able to sync and charge and obviously plug in your headphones. But unfortunately you still have to use those headphones that are supplied. You can't use a standard set of headphones, so perhaps it would have been nice to have had this Y cable but with a 3.5mm jack included, maybe, as well as the standard USB one there. But there we go, that's included in the kit. That's pretty cool. I think that's pretty much it. There's nothing else sort of lurking underneath. That's everything that's in the box. So if we bring the Zest over, have a quick look around. We have a forward facing VGA camera and then obviously the loudspeaker. The screen on the front is actually VGA, so 480 by 640, and it is 2.8 inches diagonal. Below that we have the soft keys, so we have a Windows key, an OK button, the red and green phone keys, then this D-pad up, down, left, right. And you see that better if I actually peel off the screen protectors that are on here. So we have a D-pad up, down, left, right, push button in the centre. On the side we have a dedicated camera button and a switch here, which is like a lock and hold switch, quite useful when you're actually using this as a media player or MP3 player. Stylus pokes in at the top, so there is a stylus already in there. Say fixed length plastic, not very heavy, not very weighted, but it's nice that it's not telescopic and it's quite a good size. It pops back in. Only thing on the top is the power button, and down the other side we have a cover over an external GPS antenna connector, so you can use an external GPS antenna should you so wish. There's a rocker, up down rocker there for the volume control, nothing really on the lower half. The bottom itself we have that sync, charge and audio connector, which is mini USB style, and then a small reset button there that you can use, push with the stylus. Let's pull the back cover off. We have a 3 megapixel camera on the rear. It is autofocus but doesn't have a flash, and well, I guess the back is shiny enough. If you want to take pictures of yourself, you can, but there's no dedicated mirror. And there is a grille over the loudspeaker, which is on the back. Back, as you can see, very shiny piano black. I guess that's going to be covered in fingerprints in no time. Same for the front. I'm sure you're going to have an ear print on that within no time. Let's just pop the back off and install the battery. Incidentally, the micro SD card goes under here, pushes under here, as does the SIM card. So you do have to take the battery out in order to access the micro SD card and of course the SIM card, which is a bit of a shame really, that you have to actually power down the device in order to change the memory card, but that's what we have to do with this particular model. So we just power on, hopefully there's some life in the battery. There we go. While that's booting up, let's just quick run down on the spec. It's only 120 grams, so it's quite lightweight, but it does seem to be a little bit chunky. Is on the chunky side. I would expect it to be a bit slimmer, considering there's no sliding keyboard or anything like that. It is quite a chunky looking device, similar to the HTC Touch, although possibly a little thicker than the HTC Touch. Obviously has Windows Mobile 6.1 installed, touchscreen. The CPU is 624 MHz, so quite a fast CPU, coupled with 256 megabytes of ROM and 128 megabytes of RAM. Let's just go quickly skipping through the on-screen setup. And while that continues to install, let's carry on the rundown of the spec. It is tri-band, so it's 900, 1800 and 1900 bands supported. But interestingly, it is only single band for 3G at 2100. You support GPRS, Edge, UMTS and HSDPA. Obviously has a vibrating alert built in and speakerphone. It is touchscreen with a 5-way navigator underneath. And we support micro SD and micro SDHC up to 16 gigabytes. The USB client on the bottom is USB 1.1 only, not USB 2. We do support Bluetooth 2 with EDR, and we have built-in Wi-Fi 802.11bng. We have built-in GPS, and the GPS does support geotagging with the camera application, which is pretty cool. And as I say, that is a 3 megapixel camera. And finally, the size is 102mm from top to bottom, just over 60mm from side to side, and this is 16.5mm thick. And finally, once all the applications are installed, as we can see, we have this version of like SPP mobile shell. So we have like the today screen with battery, and the fact there's no SIM card, obviously the time, which we haven't set. Weather just down the bottom there. And then we have a menu here with 9 items on here, or programs, camera, organizer, and so on, as you can see. Then we have the dialer, where we can add in favourites, favourite friends and everything else, and we can touch to dial those. Then we can close this and go to the standard sort of home screen, where we've got plugins there with battery, clock, weather and the dialer. We have a trial version of Copilot installed as well, which comes on the O2 device. And if we just pop into the start menu, go to programs, see we've got Copilot there, GPS catcher, Windows Messenger, Task Manager, O2 network settings and O2 menu, and a SIM manager. All fairly standard stuff in there. Go into the settings menu. Again, we have pretty standard things. We have a whole ringtone section there, which is interesting. That's a specific item rather than other sounds and notifications. Wake up source, voice command, video call settings. Into system, we have headset volume control there with a separate icon. System information, task manager, all again kind of standard stuff. You have our connection settings for GSM and 3G networks, Wi-Fi settings, wireless manager, USB settings, in USB settings, active sync, and we have a mass storage mode for the card reader. So pretty standard stuff. I mean, I'm just playing around with this very briefly as I am here. I noticed that the touchscreen does seem to be extremely sensitive. It's responding to my finger press rather than a fingernail press quite well, and I like the shell there that's installed. That is pretty cool. And as I mentioned earlier on, it is similar in appearance to the HTC Touch. I mean, obviously there is some similarity there with sort of a fairly standard, fairly basic button arrangement at the bottom. We have a similar screen size, but obviously the O2 XDA Zest does have the VGA display, whereas obviously the Touch only has QVGA, and obviously the O2 Zest has a much higher specification. It is a little thicker than the Touch, but very similar sort of in design. As I say though, the Zest has the better spec. So I'm going to be using the Zest over the next couple of weeks, and we'll have a written review online for you very soon.